Hello guys, in this video tutorial I will explain uh, the procedure that how we can construct a frequency table for the data. Why we need frequency table or frequency distribution. When the data range is high, then we cannot make a simple frequency table. Then we need to make some intervals and then he count the data in those interval and that's the frequency of that interval, and similarly we do for each interval. So we do some interval, we construct some intervals, and then we count the number of values in those intervals and then write the frequencies against each interval, and then that we call the frequency table. So in this video, I will explain the general procedure. Some people say 6-step procedure, but I will explain 4-step procedure in which you can easily construct a frequency table. You can apply with any data set which you have. The range is little higher, some more values with the high range. A 4-step procedure, which is I mentioned here that a 4-step procedure can be used. Note the smallest and largest values in the given data. And suppose you have data, note the smallest and largest value. And the coming step, we will use the largest and smallest value. So you should know these values. At the first step, you note the smallest and largest values in your data. And second step is decide about the number of classes. Decide about the number of classes. This depends that how many observations are there in the data. Here in this tutorial, we use the rules of 2 power k. Select the smallest value of k for which 2 power k is greater than n, where n is the total number of observation of the given data. So choose k when this quantity 2 power k is greater than the number of observation. Then that k is the number of interval for your data. I have just have this small example. N is equal to 20. Then this means that we need to find a value of k which give you a value greater than 20 according to this rule. So let's suppose k equal to 4. So 2 power 4 is equal to 16, which is less than, which is not greater. So you can say this is not greater than not greater than 20. So we will not k is not k is not the number of interval. K is equal to 4 is not the number of interval for this specific data. Let's suppose k equal to 5. So you can see that k equal to 5. This means that 2 power 5 is equal to 32, which is greater than 20. Therefore, k is equal to 5. This means that for this data set, in which you have 20 values, k is equal to 5 means that you can make 5 class intervals for this data. You can do this for your data according to the number of observation in your data. The third step is decide about the width of the class interval. This is also a very important step. You need to know about this. This means that uh, how width will be the interval, what will be the length of the interval. So I'm using this formula that I is greater than equal to h minus L divided by k, where I is the length of the class, h is the largest value in the data, L is the smallest value in the data, and k is the number of classes about which you decided earlier in this step, in the second step. So you have all these values, highest value in the data, lowest value in the data, which you noted in step 1, and k is the number of interval about which you decided in step 2. So this will give you some value, and then you can take I is equal to r, maybe because you can make round up, r you can make it little higher than this value. So this will give you the length of the interval. So now you have all the things. You have number of classes, you have the length of the class. So you can construct your classes starting from the smallest value or round about the smallest value, and then you can construct the classes and then count the number of values in each interval and mention against against each interval, and that will give you a frequency table. The fourth step, decide about the lower and upper value of a class. This is important because you know we are using excluding the upper limit values. Suppose this is the first class, L1 is the lower limit of the first class, U is the upper limit of the first class, and then we say that this upper value of the first class as the lower value of the second class. I'm just mentioning because in other words this is L2, but L2 equal to U1. So this means that this value is also here, and U1 minus U2, U1 to U2. U2 is the lower upper limit of the second class, and this will be the lower limit of the third class. That's why I mention in this. I'm just writing in this way. If suppose you have data 1 to 40, suppose, then you need, suppose this is just an example. I did not use the proper rule. I will use the proper rule in another video tutorial. So this means that 10 to 20, and then this will be the lower limit of the next class 20 to 30, and then this will be the lower limit of the next class 30 to 40. And you need, you need to know that how you will include the values in these intervals. Let's suppose in this interval the value start from 10, and you will include the values from 10 to 19.99. 20 value should not be here, 20 value should be in this interval. So other people can use other rules, but this, I think this is simple, so you can use this. In this interval the values will be from 20 to 29.99. 30 value will not be here, 30 value will be in this class. In this class the values will be from 30 to 39.99. The 40 value will be in the next class if there is. So in this video tutorial we learned, I will have to summarize. In this video tutorial we learned about how to construct a frequency table from the given data. There are four-step procedure. The first is decide about, the first one is decide about smallest and largest value, about L and H, smallest, lower and higher value, to decide about number of classes, that's mean K. Third, decide about the length of the class interval, length of the class interval, and the fourth one is decide about the lower and upper value, decide about the lower and upper values of the class. Okay, so this is the four-step procedure, which is very basic and very, I mean, it's very easy. You can apply to any data set, and I will have a video in which I explain this to the data. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Ciao.